My name is David Gabb, and as you probably just observed, sugar addiction is becoming more and more of a big problem across our population. We are consuming more and more sugar, causing us to live very unhealthy lives. Therefore, I wanted to discuss with you my award-winning science project regarding this hot topic so that we can be able to develop ways to practice the abstention of our sugar addiction so that we can live healthier lives. Consuming sugar is becoming a growing problem in our society and as individuals. A recent study indicates that in the 1800s, we consumed about 5 pounds of sugar per person per year. However, in 2011, this number increased to 100 pounds of sugar per person per year. This is 22 teaspoons per day, or about 350 calories, which is already a scary amount. However, if this trend continues, by the year of 2060, we will be consuming over 450 pounds of sugar, and this is very scary. But what is sugar addiction in the first place? Sugar addiction or abuse is a disorder characterized by the excessive consumption of sugar. It can have many adverse health effects, which may range from obesity, diabetes, or increased aging. Therefore, if we do not stop this problem now, we will have the sugar addiction will have a very big toll and an impact on the way we live and our human health. Therefore, I wanted to determine which factors might make a human more or less addicted to sugar. For my experiment, I knew that humans would be a great model to use. However, with the time and experiment to have, I knew it would not be possible. Therefore, I decided to conduct some literature research. After reading a bunch of literature, I found that the Drosophila Melanogaster for fly was a perfect model to use for my experimentation. I found that it was commonly used in drug addiction studies, and I thought it would be perfect to use in my study for sugar addiction. In my experiment, I tested 3 main factors. The first factor was, which concentration of sugar would the flies be addicted to the most? The second factor was, how would different common food flavors affect the flies' preferences for the different concentration of sugar? The third factor was, how would long-time feeding influence the flies' preferences towards a different concentration of sugar with or without flavors? I really hope that with my results, I would be able to help develop methods to practice our extension of our sugar addiction. In my experiment, I hypothesized that the flies would initially prefer the physiological concentration of sugar. However, the long-time feeding would make the flies prefer the higher concentration of sugar, as well as the different food flavors. In order to run my experiment, I divided petri dishes into 4 equal sections. In each section, I placed equally sized rectangular pieces of filter paper. I soaked each piece of filter paper in the different concentration of sugar. In some experiments, I also soaked the filter paper with the different food flavors in order to see if these food flavors would change the fly's preferences for the different concentration of sugar. For each experiment, I also had 3 repeats. Next, I placed about 50 to 80 flies in the center of each petri dish and let the flies choose their flavor. Over time, I took pictures and counted the number of flies in each sector in order to determine which concentration of sugar the flies were addicted to the most. Then I analyzed the data. Now, if you can see in this figure, you can see that the filter paper is colored brown color, showing that I soaked the filter paper in the cinnamon food flavor. Also, you can see that the fruit flies have chosen their flavor and concentration of sugar. The first question I tested in my experiment was, which concentration of sugar would the flies be addicted to the most? This would show how humans would be addicted to sugar. Now, if you look in the chart, you can see that the 4 main concentrations are 0, 100, 200, or 400. According to literature research, 100 is the preferred human consumption concentration. So you can see that the flies prefer this concentration the most, followed by the lowest concentration of sugar. Now, the second question I tested in my experiment was, how would different common food flavors affect the flies' preferences for the different concentration of sugar? I thought this was very realistic as humans, we do not normally consume raw sugar. We actually consume sugar with different food products, such as natural sugar in banana or sugar in chocolate. So I wanted to see if these different food flavors would influence the flies' preferences to the different concentration of sugar. And now if you look in the chart, you can see the 4 concentrations along with the 4 main food flavors, which were banana, cinnamon, chocolate, and salt. If you look closely, you can see that the banana, chocolate, and salt flavors did not really change the fly's preferences for the different concentration of sugar. However, the cinnamon flavor made the flies prefer more of the lower concentration of sugar rather than the higher concentration of sugar. Now, my third and final question for my project was, how would long-time feeding influence the fly's preferences for the different concentration of sugar, with and without flavors? Now, if you look in the first chart, you can see here that there's an evident trend of the flies moving towards a higher concentration of sugar as time progressed, showing that they became more addicted to the higher concentration of sugar. Now, if you look at the next 4 charts, you can see that even with the addition of the banana, cinnamon, chocolate, and salt flavors, the flies still began to prefer the higher concentration of sugar, regardless of the flavors. Now, although I was able to receive clear data throughout my experiment, I thought that the charts shown here did not clearly show the distribution of flies between the different flavors and concentration of sugar. Therefore, I decided to do some computational modeling. So, as you can see here in these charts, you can see that even in early feeding times, they preferred the physiological concentration of sugar. However, as time progressed, there's an evident trend as the flies move to the higher concentration of sugar over time, regardless of the flavor. And you can see that in the first row without flavors, you can see an evident trend, and even with the addition of flavors, there is no change between the preferences of the flies, showing that the flavors do not really change the flies' preferences towards the different concentration of sugar. Overall, my experimentation proved my hypothesis correct. The flies initially preferred the physiological concentration of sugar, and long-time feeding made the flies prefer the higher concentration of sugar over time. However, the food flavors did not really change the preference of the flies to the different concentration of sugar. This shows that no matter which type of food you eat, you'll still become more and more addicted to sugar, showing that we should just stay away from sugar as a whole. I hope that my project will enable us to develop methods to stop our sugar addiction. My project has a very close relation to the human sugar addiction cycle. As the humans consume more and more sugar, they are becoming more and more addicted to it. Therefore, I think that we should be able to practice the abstention of sugar addiction in order to live better and healthier lives. Thank you. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like and share it so that we can spread the word and stop our sugar addiction problem. Thank you.